The prediction machine, how brains guess reality. To see why her engine guessed the way it did, we need the model that runs every room you enter. The brain doesn't wait for certainty. It predicts, then checks. In predictive processing terms, high levels guess the scene, tense kitchen. Mid levels guess features, tone, footsteps, cabinet sounds, and low levels track raw sensations, pressure, pitch, heartbeat. Signals rise from senses and body, but traffic is mostly top-down. Hypotheses trying to explain noise before it lands. Why guess first? Because action can't lag. A system that waits gets hurt. Karl Friston's framing is blunt. Living systems minimize surprise. The brain sends predictions about what's out there and what's in here, then compares them with incoming data. Mismatches are prediction errors. Reduce error quickly and you move. Fail and you freeze. Here's the gear that flipped her night: precision waiting. The brain doesn't trust every signal equally. It assigns confidence, precision, to either prior beliefs or incoming errors. High precision on a prior, like silence means danger, turns down contradictory cues. High precision on sensory. Error does the opposite. It amplifies mismatch and forces updating. Under chronic stress, the dial creeps toward priors because a false negative, missing real threat, costs more than a false positive, overreacting to a harmless cue. So the system leans conservative, reusing old maps that once paid off. Andy Clark calls this a layered hypothesis test. Perception isn't a photograph. It's a bet the brain keeps placing and hedging. When the bet wins, when the model explains the moment with minimal leftover error, you feel rightness. That felt rightness is not truth, it's low error. In her kitchen, the slam, the quiet, and a racing heart nested neatly under one story. That story cancelled error fastest, so it won. Keys in hand, door open, the loop closed. Meanwhile, interoception runs the same scheme. The body streams signals, tight chest, heat, hollowness, and the brain uses past concepts to label them. Lisa Feldman Barrett's work shows emotions are constructed, not detected. Tight chest plus silence becomes danger if your concept bank has paired that combo with harm. Once labeled, the model sees the room through that feeling. Effective realism turns sensation into lens. When you feel alarm, faces look harder, rooms look colder, options look thinner. The perception feels objective because the label reduced error. That's why certainty can spike while accuracy drops. The machine explains away surprising details to preserve the story with the least mismatch. The ignored text, the loose handle, the partner's known shutdown then repair pattern. Each would have raised prediction error and forced an update, so they stayed dim. Her nervous system wasn't lying. It was optimizing for speed. This isn't fatalism. The same machinery frees you. If the brain can allocate precision, it can reallocate it. If it can guess, it can test. Active inference is the bridge. You don't just sense. You act to sample evidence that challenges or confirms your prediction. Small probes, waiting 5 minutes with an exit plan, reading the message, asking one clean question. Raise the gain on bottom-up data. If the feared outcome fails to arrive on schedule, error accumulates against the prior. With repetitions, precision slides from yesterday's map to this room. There's a catch. Stress biases precision toward alarms, and some biases weren't born with you. Family climates and intergenerational stress can start the dial higher on vigilance. That's a starting posture, not destiny. The lever is discomfort you choose, tolerating just enough uncertainty for fresh data to matter. So the work isn't trust your gut or ignore your gut. It's train your gut. 3 moves do it. First, mark where certainty arrives faster than evidence. That's precision on a prior. Second, deliberately amplify present cues, texts, histories, observable markers, until the model has to account for them. Third, run micro-experiments that let absence count. Brains love presence, what you can point at. But in prediction, what doesn't happen is often the loudest data. Back in that kitchen, 5 minutes with a timer wasn't weakness, it was engineering. The pause would have raised precision on the message, on his known pattern, on her own history of false countdowns. Maybe the story would have stayed the same. Maybe not. Either way, the next guess would have been earned, not inherited. That's the prediction machine. A fast, conservative, adjustable betmaker. Under heat, it will reuse yesterday's answers. Under design, it will learn. Now that we've mapped the engine, we can trace how trauma and family tuning push its dials, and how to bring them back within range. Trauma priors, when the past weighs more than the present. Trauma doesn't just bruise, it calibrates. After enough shocks, the system stops treating danger as a possibility and starts treating it as the baseline. That calibration shows up as high-precision danger priors. Predictions with so much confidence they drown out the room. Daily life turns into reruns, not because you crave them, but because your model prefers the path with the least surprise. Here's why. Precision is the brain's bet on what to trust. Trauma tilts the bet toward old alarms. A slammed door used to be noise, now it's a siren. A neutral face used to be neutral, now it's a mask you must decode. This isn't melodrama, it's energy economics. When missing real danger once was costly, your system learns to catch shadows early and often. False positives feel cheap compared to false negatives, so the dial creeps toward the past. In action, it's subtle and relentless. You walk into a meeting, and your attention narrows to tone and micro-pauses. Content blurs, scanning takes over. A partner's sigh becomes a sign. A delayed text becomes intent. You recognize the pattern and execute the old policy. Withdraw, appease, attack, vanish. It feels decisive. In predictive terms, you pick the move that minimizes error, not necessarily the move that reduces harm. Meanwhile, the body. Cosigns. Interoceptive sensations, tight chest, hollow belly, buzzing limbs, arrive as evidence because, in trauma, those sensations rode in with real threat. The model tags them as diagnostic. When they reappear, confidence spikes. That felt rightness isn't truth. It's low prediction error wearing a badge. The impact compounds. In love, volatility reads as aliveness, steadiness as indifference. Calm feels off, like waiting for the other shoe. In money, you chase or dump to quiet unease, not to follow plan. In health, a flutter becomes catastrophe because worst-case priors get extra gain. Each choice delivers immediate relief by closing uncertainty. Each relief repays the prior with another boost of precision. The loop feeds itself. Not all inputs are big headlines. Chronic misattunement, being unseen, unpredictably soothed, or asked to mind read, pushes the same dials. A classroom humiliation that taught visibility equals risk. A workplace where feedback arrived only when something broke. A home where love meant anticipating needs. Repetition, not drama, hardens priors. There's also inheritance. Families pass thresholds, not just stories. How soon to scan, how fast to shut down, how long to wait. Prenatal stress tunes the HPA axis. Early caregiving teaches whether surges can settle with help. Modeling encodes policies as culture. We don't air dirty laundry. We leave first. We keep our heads down. Research led by Rachel Yehuda and colleagues points to a mixed pathway. Caregiving patterns braided with epigenetic marks that bias stress reactivity without fixing destiny. Cohorts shaped by the upheavals and economic shocks of the 197s and 198s often handed down a readiness that made sense then. Today, that readiness can flood neutral scenes with borrowed urgency. Microstory. You're offered a role with more visibility. Belly drops. Your map predicts exposure equals harm. Policy. Decline quickly and stay safe. Relief lands the second you draft the no. That relief pays the danger prior, not your values. 2 months later, someone else takes the role and thrives. Your model files it as they're different, protecting the loop. Here's the mechanic underneath. After trauma, the system overweights priors and underweights disconfirming cues. You notice pattern completing details and miss counter-evidence in plain sight. The boss who has repaired after conflict 3 times. The partner who texts, "I need 5," and returns. The doctor who's ruled out red flags twice. Each would raise prediction error and force an update, so they stay dim. Certainty feels earned because it arrives with speed. It isn't. It's inherited efficiency. This isn't blame, it's leverage. Naming the prior loosens it. My system learned that silence equals danger. Shame drops when context enters. Precision slips a notch when you treat belief as provisional, not identity. From there, you can design moments where bottom-up data gets a fair shot. 2 anchors help. First, treat rightness with suspicion in familiar fear scenes. Ask, right because it's true, or right because it's known? Second, let absence count. If the explosion you predict doesn't arrive on schedule, 5, 10, 15 minutes, write that down. Brains undervalue what doesn't happen. Updating requires seeing the dog that didn't bark. One more montage to make it personal. Love. You pause 1 beat longer in a quiet room and ask a clean question. No blow-up follows. Money. You run a checklist and wait through a dip. The urge fades without price action. Health. You hydrate, breathe, and walk for 2 minutes. The flutter settles. None of these prove the world is safe. They prove your model can be wrong, and survive learning that. Trauma priors kept you here. Honor that. Then recalibrate. You're not erasing history. You're moving precision from yesterday's map to today's room, one small, planned mismatch at a time. Inherited alarms, family systems, and epigenetic stress. To see why some alarms arrive already half-cocked, we step one layer out. From the single night to the system that trained the night. This isn't about blame. It's calibration. Families don't just pass stories, they pass thresholds. How soon to scan? How fast to shut down? How long to wait before moving? Those thresholds live in routines, tones, and what counted as normal arousal on a Tuesday. Start at the start, prenatal life. A mother's stress chemistry doesn't stop at the placenta. If her world demanded vigilance, money tight, housing unstable, partner unpredictable, your developing stress systems learned the neighborhood early. The HPA axis, the hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal loop, sets its thermostat with those signals. Higher baseline arousal, quicker cortisol spikes, slower off-ramps. Not fate, but a bias. Expect volatility, prepare faster. Then comes attachment climate. If comfort was consistent, your nervous system learned that surges can settle with help. If comfort was patchy, you learned to solve surges alone or to get ahead of them. A home where voices rose before dinner wrote one policy. A home where quiet signaled, "We're okay," wrote another. Every repetition tuned priors about safety and updated the brain's confidence. Precision by practice. Modeling wrote the operating manual. Kids learn with their eyes. If a caregiver freezes around conflict, you learn that freeze conserves belonging. If caregiver confronts with steadiness, you learn that approach can work. Families encode prediction policies as culture. We don't air dirty laundry. We talk it out. Keep your head down. Leave first. Each line is a forecast about outcomes. What preserves safety here? Meanwhile, biology and experience braid. Research led by Rachel Yehuda and colleagues points to intergenerational stress effects traveling 2 roads. Caregiving patterns and epigenetic marks. Chemical tags that tune gene expression without changing DNA. Think gain control on stress response circuits. In cohorts shaped by upheavals and economic shocks common in the 197s and 198s, settings that once protected families, scan sooner, move faster, became family defaults. Adaptive then, loud now. Here's a family vignette. A grandmother uprooted in the late 197s keeps a bag by the door. She trains her daughter to travel light, keep copies of documents, listen for knocks. The daughter grows into a mother who lowers the radio when sirens pass, scans teachers' faces for hidden meanings, and uses silence as discipline. The child, our protagonist, absorbs the choreography. Quiet equals readiness, rapid decisions preserve respect, delay invites danger. Decades later, a cabinet slams and those priors light up like runway bulbs. Guardrails keep this grounded. Epigenetics isn't destiny, it's posture. Many descendants of stressed cohorts develop fast sense-making, grit, and community vigilance that keep people safe. The same tuning that accelerates alarm can, with different inputs, accelerate learning. Plasticity never leaves. What hardens a bias is repetition without counter-evidence. What loosens it is safe disconfirmation in context. Watch how family systems consolidate precision. If displays of calm after conflict were rare, children didn't log enough bottom-up data that quiet can be repair. Predictions stayed one note: quiet precedes harm. Each time that prediction worked, or wasn't explicitly disconfirmed, the brain reduced error by believing harder. Over years, the prior's precision swelled. By adulthood, the model didn't weigh options. It recognized a pattern and executed a policy. Culture overlays the home. Neighborhood norms, historical narratives, even the decade's news set ambient priors. If your parent came of age amid layoffs, protests, or surveillance, their normal risk shifted. That shift colored their parenting, which colored your sensing. A clipped email today might carry echoes of a boss who could end a livelihood with one sentence. Your body reads the echo, not the sender. Microstory. Sunday night, your father ironed shirts in silence while the news droned about closures. Your mother triple-checked locks. You learned read the room, move early. Fast forward. A partner pauses to think. Your belly drops. Policy. Exit or press. Relief hits as soon as you choose. That relief is the payout from a family policy that once guarded the door. Here's the mechanism in brain terms. Rehearsed family moves assign high precision to certain priors. Shut down, leave first, anticipate. Interoceptive cues that rode along with those moves. Hollow belly, tight jaw, get tagged as evidence. When they appear now, the model knows faster than the facts arrive. Effective realism snaps in. You don't just feel alarm. The face across from you looks colder, the room harsher, the options fewer. Low prediction error masquerades as truth. So where's the exit? Naming inheritance turns commands into quotes. My family solved danger by staying ahead of it. Our house treated silence as strategy. That language moves beliefs from identity to object. Next, you add present evidence on purpose. You stage small, safe scenes where family predictions can fail without cost, and you let the absence count. No explosion at 5 minutes is a line you write down, not a feeling you forget by morning. 2 practical tools help. First, the family phrase board. List legacy lines. Next to each, write an update that preserves value but changes forecast. Don't make it worse becomes don't make it worse by testing first. Leave the room becomes by 5 minutes and check data, then leave if needed. Second, origin to present mapping. For each old scene, note the rhyme today and 1 microprobe. Old, locked jaw at the table. Present, partner's quiet face. Probe, ask for a time boundary. Do you want 5? Old, terse see me from a teacher. Present, brief email. Probe, 1 clarifying question before narrative. None of this erases real risk. Red flags still mean go, but when your alarms carry a chorus, grandmothers with go bags, parents with low radios, a child who learned to read air. Calibration starts with respect and ends with design. The familiarity you inherit thresholds. Why wrong feels right. You get to set them again. Here's the catch that keeps smart people stuck. The brain tags familiar as safe and novel as threat, not because of mysticism, but because of how prediction error feels. When a move fits your old map, mismatch drops and your system pays you with relief. Relief feels like rightness, so the old map keeps winning. Under the hood, habit circuits in the basal ganglia reward closure. Dopamine isn't only for jackpots. It also reinforces predictions that resolve neatly. If your prior says, quiet means danger, then leaving fast ends uncertainty. The drop in tension stamps the loop with good call, whether or not it reduced harm. You're being reinforced for ending surprise, not for increasing accuracy. Meanwhile, emotions are built, not found. Lisa Feldman Barrett's research shows the brain uses past concepts to interpret raw interoceptive noise. Tight chest plus flat, tone plus late reply. If your concept bank has bad sign, for that combo, your brain constructs dread and calls it intuition. Effective realism completes the trick. You don't just feel dread, you see the world through it. Faces look colder. Options look thinner. The perception feels objective, because the label cancelled error. This is why wrong can feel more right than right. New policies. Wait 5 minutes, ask 1 clean question. Stay 1 conversational turn, spike error at first. They feel bad because the map is surprised. Your system confuses unexpected with unsafe. So you abandon the very moves that would add data and update the model. Take love. You meet someone steady. They reply when they say they will. Repair happens without theater. Your body reads the low volatility as off. The absence of spikes creates prediction error for a map that equates intensity with aliveness. The quickest way to feel right is to exit and find chaos. You call it chemistry. Underneath, it's calibration for yesterday's storms. Try money. Quiet markets stir unease because your policy says motion fixes threat. You open the app, scan red and green, find a chart pattern that gives your brain a handle, and trade. The instant you act, tension drops. Whether the trade pays is secondary. The loop tightens either way. Next lull, the itch arrives sooner. You're not building returns, you're buying relief. Health does a similar dance. Your heart flutters after coffee. Old label, omen. You Google, schedule tests, or cancel plans. Each step lowers error and delivers calm, which cements the omen prior. Normal results come back, but the category doesn't update because you treated the episode as proof that action prevented catastrophe, not as data about benign sensations. The pattern rhymes across domains. You reward what closes the loop, not what reduces harm. That's the trap, and it's fixable because the currency, relief, is predictable. Here's the pivot. Treat novelty discomfort as a learning signal, not a stop sign. Name it plainly. This feels wrong because it's new. Then measure outcomes in timed, low-stakes trials. Don't wait for your feelings to approve. Let evidence earn the update. Micro-stories make it concrete. A client sits across from a comm partner. Belly goes hollow. The urge to poke for reassurance surges. She labels the state, withdrawal from chaos, sets a 3-minute timer, asks one clean question. Are you thinking or pulling away? Then waits. No snap arrives. Relief doesn't hit immediately, but the absence gets logged. 2 more reps that week produce the same non-event. The category quiet equals danger loses a notch of precision. Money seen. Portfolio dips modestly. Jaw tightens. He names the urge closing uncertainty, runs a 5-minute walk, and checks a pre-commit checklist. Thesis, risk size, exit plan. By the time he returns, price hasn't moved. The itch has. He logs urge decayed without action. 2 more waits in the same week beat his historical impulse trades. The story inaction equals loss stops feeling like law. Health scene. Afternoon flutter. She dials probabilities. 50% stimulant, 30% posture, 20% anxiety. Runs water, shoulder rolls for slow exhales, then a 2-minute walk. Flutter settles. She writes, coffee plus slump, not omen. 3 similar days stack the same outcome. The old label stops autofilling. 2 design rules protect the pivot. First, timers, not vibes. Love gets minutes to hours. Money gets hours to days. Health gets immediate for red flags. Otherwise, measured windows. Second, log absences. Brains undervalue what doesn't happen, so write no explosion, no cascade, no collapse. Absence is evidence. Watch for tells that you're back in the trap. In love, needing chaos to feel alive, calling steady boring, manufacturing tests for reassurance. In money, seeking commentary to justify motion, trading to smooth a feeling, hiding losses. In health, Googling mid-sensation, stacking supplements for control, avoiding regulating movement because early arousal. Mimics alarm. When you spot a tell, say the line. Right because it's known, or right because it's true? And by a window, there's a quiet reward on the other side. As the model updates, comm stops reading as off. Boredom starts reading as safety plus space. Relief arrives later, and it's a different kind. The steady kind that comes from alignment with values and evidence. That's not fireworks. It's footing. You won't like the first 10 reps. That's fine. Learning looks like wrongness inside a predictive brain. Hold the wrongness long enough to watch it turn into data. Then let the data, not the drop in tension, steer the next move.